welcome to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. This is episode 151. I'm Angela, your host. It is Tuesday, I believe, September 19th, 2017. And on to updates and housekeeping. Not too much going on. The show is on YouTube, iTunes, the Ravelry group, Revelations of a Delusional Knitter, and delusionalknitter.com. VKNs, Virtual Knit Nights. I was hoping to be able to start those up again, but the overtime schedule at work, again this month, is awful. So I was actually supposed to work an 8-hour shift today, but what we do is the day before, if anybody doesn't want their overtime, they can refuse it on the schedule and then it gets called out. So you don't know until the day before if you're going to have it off or not, unless somebody says, hey, if nobody takes that overtime, I'll take it for you, then you know ahead of time that somebody, plans on taking it. So I didn't know until last night that I would have today off. So that was awesome because I had no days off for the rest of the month. I only had like 1 or 2 earlier in the month, and then that's it. I have no more days off for September. So that's where the VKNs are right now. In October, though, we have a trainee who should be released from training for October. So if she is released and everything goes well, then she'll be picking up a shift, and that will really cut down the overtime. So let's hope that happens and that all works out, because I am so done with all the overtime. Declarations, what's been going on? I think I mentioned in the last episode, I don't know, but the Rebecca Danger group, we do Traveling Monsters every year, and Albert is home. So I have Albert back, and he went on his travels, and he has returned, so he will be added to the chair over there with all the other stuffies. But it's always fun, they have a little notebook, and everybody writes what they did, and then in the group we all do pictures of all the monsters and take them out and do stuff, so it's a lot of fun. I like doing that every year. I have in my notes here that August sucked, because August sucked. I am glad it's September. August was absolutely terrible. So many things went wrong and awful. I don't even want to chat about them for too long, but let's just put it this way. The dog got really sick. I almost had to take her to the vet. I did call the vet, and they told me to continue with the bland diet like I was doing and wait another day or 2 before bringing her in and see if it resolved on its own, which it did, so I never had to bring her to the vet. I'm assuming she ate something stupid outside because she eats everything. And we have mushrooms in the yard, there's wild animals that leave droppings in the yard, acorns and sticks, and she eats everything. So the vet had said because she was exploding from both ends, they figured it probably wasn't a blockage because otherwise, something wouldn't be coming out one of the ends. But yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Vomiting and diarrhea for 2 days straight, nonstop. Couldn't keep anything down. So there was that, and then Nico was sick. I did not have to bring him to the vet because it was only 1 day, but I was worried he was having a relapse again. Then I was sick. I had a tooth abscess, and I had to go to the dentist and get antibiotics. So it was just absolutely terrible. Lucy's fine. Nico's fine. I'm fine. So everything resolved itself. Nico is back on the supplement he was on for the pancreatitis because we did his blood work again, and it was better. It was way better than it was when he was sick, but it's not normal. So the vet said it sounds like he's one that's just going to have to stay on this supplement to maintain and stop that from that level, that liver, I don't even know what it is. It's like a liver enzyme level or something from creeping back up. So far so good. He's been back on that every other day, and he's been doing fine. So that's good. The other thing that happened in August, I have my craft room here, which is like my sanctuary where I get to hide from everybody. And apparently some hornets decided to make a nest in the wall. And so it wasn't outside, and it wasn't inside. It was in the middle of the wall, apparently, because we couldn't find it. And they were getting in the room. So there were just hornets swarming in here all the time. So we sprayed some stuff outside because we could see them flying in through a gap under the window trim. And we blocked that up. But it took quite a while for them to die off. So every day I would come in here and sweep up dead hornets. And my husband was also doing it at one time during the day. So there was just hundreds of them. And I guess, though, my husband had looked it up, it looks like they only use that nest for one season and they don't return. So hopefully they don't come back next year. But because we'd have to rip the siding off to get to it, and we don't really want to do that. So, oh God. And all those things happened at the same time. I was going completely nuts, and I had lots of overtime at work, and I was just working, sleeping, and picking up vomit and crap and dead hornets the entire month of August, and it was terrible. But August is over, and we're on to September, and that's good. And what else has been going on? I don't know if any of you have one, but I absolutely love this thing. I watch a lot of British TV, British comedies, and a lot of them have electric tea kettles. So instead of putting it on the stove and heating up the water, you just plug it in and push a button, and then your water's hot. And it does work faster than the stove, because I just doing it, I realized that, wow, that was really quick. So I like to drink tea in the evenings when I get home from work and am knitting in here. And I love this thing. It's awesome. It's so great because it works super fast. It heats up really, really fast. It's like half the time, if not less, than it took me to boil water on the stove. The other thing is when I come home from work at night, my husband is sleeping, so I would have to stand in, I wouldn't have to, he didn't really care, but I felt bad. I would have to stand in front of the kettle and watch it boil because I wanted to shut the gas off as soon as it started whistling so it didn't wake him up, you know. The electric one doesn't whistle. It automatically shuts off, so I don't have to stand in front of it and wait for it, so that's really cool. I don't know if anybody else, I'm sure a lot of you caught onto this, if you, Craftsy had a free streaming day, and it was awesome because I think it was a weekend day. And I was at work, and weekends usually are quiet, and it happened to be a quiet day, so I got to watch a ton of free Craftsy stuff that day, and it was really awesome. And it was really cool too, and I hope they do it again, because it's a really good idea, because you get to really, you know, a lot of the classes have an ad for the class where they have a short video that explains the class to you. But actually getting to click through the class and watch bits of it or watch a lot of it really gave you a much better impression of that class itself. And it actually made me, I did buy at least one, and there are others that I watched that day that I will buy. So it was a good idea for them. It was a good, you know, advertisement for them too. I am also a Craftsy affiliate, don't forget that. So if you do go and get a Craftsy class, if you can click through delusionalknitter.com first, that would be fantastic, because I have fees associated with the podcast, and I use that money to compensate for some of those, so don't forget that. Revelations. I have 2 whips at the moment. I have no FOs, and I will tell you why in a minute. The first one is Even Star, which I've been working on, but then I stopped because of this other whip. But that's in my Stitched by Jessalou bag, my Hobbit bag. And I did get quite a bit done, and I'm very, very happy with it. Don't pull too hard, pull all the stitches off. But I have quite a bit done. I'm on chart 2. And I ended up going with US 4s. The pattern recommends 3s, but my gauge was, I knit pretty tight, so my gauge was way off for that. So I ended up going with the 4s, and I like them a lot because these are my Haya sharps. Yeah, and I like those a lot for this lace work. I had wound up another skein, which I really thought I would need soon, which I didn't need at all. There's so much yardage in these little tiny skeins. It's crazy. I keep knitting, keep thinking I'm going to run out, and then there's just more yarn and more yarn and more yarn, which is good, because then I hope I should have plenty for the shawl, but since I'm knitting it on a different size needles, I was a little concerned. But again, the gauge was fine for the pattern, so I shouldn't run out of yarn. But that's going very well, and I've been very, very good about keeping track on Even Star, because although I don't know where the chart is, so maybe I'm not doing so well. I thought the chart was in here, it's not. But anyway, wherever the chart is, when I find it, that's really good. I'm so good at keeping track. I don't know where the chart is. A lot of times, you know, you're working on a project and you're like, oh, I'll remember where I was, I'll remember what I did, and then you put it down for weeks or months or years, and then you go back and you have no idea where you were in the pattern, and it takes you a while to figure it out. I can figure it out, but it's a pain. Why not just keep track in the first place, and then you're all set? So I've been excellent at keeping track. I have the highlighter tape that I have on the actual paper chart, and I make sure I move that exactly every time. And this one's even a little bit more important to keep track of because it's in the round. You don't have an end, so you can't just like finish a row and move the highlighter tape. You have to either go over a few stitches or stop a few stitches before the end so that your beginning of round markers, secured by stitches around it and doesn't fall off the needles. So I have to make sure I don't get excited and move the tape up and then end up stopping and not be on that row, and kind of thing, or like not move the tape when I go a few stitches past the marker on the next row, kind of thing. But I've been doing really good about keeping really excellent track because I don't want to have to try and figure out where I am. The other whip, I'm actually going to put a note in the show notes below this. This is the What the Fade Mystery Knit Along. I'm so glad I didn't just say the F word, by the way, because it's really hard every time I see what the other word wants to come out. So I will put notes in the show notes after I record this and finish it for the time for this if you don't want to see a spoiler. Now I am still on Clue 2, and Clue 3 has already been released last week. So I am definitely not even on the current Clue, so you don't have to worry about that. And Clue 2 looks just like Clue 1, but it's a different color. So if you're working on it, I'm really not spoiling anything for you if you have done Clue 1 even, or 2, or 3. So first I guess I'll show you my yarn. And what happened was, oh god, I was so upset. I was so obsessed with doing this mystery shawl and keeping up with it and doing it on time. And I really wanted to use stash yarn because I have a ridiculous fingering weight stash. It's crazy. So I was pulling stuff out and I was swatching colors and I didn't like them and this, that, and the other, and like 5 of them would be perfect, but then I couldn't find a 6th that went with it well. So I ended up saying screw it, and I went to Knit Picks and I just bought yarn because Knit Picks is fairly inexpensive, so it wasn't a crazy investment. So this is my fade yarn. Those are my colors. And how you chose them was kind of like this. If you laid them all out next to each other, you kind of wanted them to do this. And I was a little concerned, so it goes from, right to left. Over here, the bright pink is A, and then it goes that way. And I was really concerned about the first 2 colors next to each other and how they would look knitted up. Well, it turns out that those 2 don't even go next to each other yet. But, so it didn't really matter at all. And it ended up working out perfectly. So this is what I have so far. I am on Clue 2, almost done with Clue 2. So it's brioche, and that's how my colors are working out, and I am absolutely loving it. I'm really, really happy with it. So this is my What the Fade so far, and those were my colors, and yeah, it's going really well. It's a lot of knitting though. I don't have a ton of time right now because of work and everything, but like I said, I'm already behind, and I have been working on it faithfully like every day. So I'm a little upset about that, but whatever. This is also why I don't like doing mystery knit-alongs, because they're just like obsessive. You just want to do it. That's why I haven't worked on Even Star, because I've been working on this thing. So I'm really hoping to finish it on time, but I'm already way behind, so I have no idea. And the more I knit on it, my shoulder and neck have been bothering me a lot lately. I don't even know if it has anything to do with the knitting. So much so, my neck is so tight on this side right now, it is causing this eye to twitch, and it's been twitching for like a week and a half. It's really starting to drive me insane. But then I can't knit as long as I would like to on it because of time. Number one, I can't stay up all night knitting on it, but also because like today I had the day off, so I could knit on it for a couple of hours, but I can't because my shoulder hurts, so I don't know, whatever. Anyway, those are my problems. Those sound like really big problems, don't they? String theory. I do not have any spinning to show you because I haven't done any. However, the last couple of days, maybe a week, I've been going down in the basement and organizing my fiber stash, and I'm so excited because I finally got it organized. It's been years, and it drives me crazy because I'll have all kinds of different stuff in all these bins, and stuff that has no rhyme or reason, and I don't even know what I have, and it's just a disaster. I'm gonna post pictures in the Ravelry group of my ridiculous stash because it's insane. And I really don't have to buy anything, like probably for the rest of my life. That won't happen, but that's the case. But I'm super happy because I finally got it organized into a fashion that I'm happy with. So I have several bins, and Into the World, because I'm in the club, has its own bin, and it's a really large bin. Then I have natural fibers, which are fibers that are mill processed, you know, professionally processed, but they're natural colors. They're not dyed. Then I have dyed top, and then I have dyed roving. These are all separate bins, so I'm already up to 4, and we're talking bins. You know, bins. That was my shoulder cracking, by the way, my good one. Then I have Blaine Fleece and Fiber got its own bin, because it was, if I sorted the types of fiber from BFF into the bins they belonged in, a bin would overflow, and it wouldn't all fit in one bin. So I'm like, you know what? Blaine Fleece and Fiber can just have its own bin, because I have so much. Then I have a natural raw, which is stuff that is dirty, which needs to be washed and processed. Then I have kind of an overflow bin for the natural fibers that are processed, or also in that bin is stuff that I have already washed that's natural. Then the smaller bins come in. Oh, and I forgot bats and bumps. I have a bin that's just bats and bumps, so like loop bumps and then carded bats. That's another bin. I lost track already. Am I up to 8? I think I'm up to 8. Then the smaller bins come in. And those ones are about this big. And one is alpaca and llama, like 2 ounce, 1 ounce or 2 ounce samples. One is superfine fibers, like camel and merino cashmere blends and superfine merinos, again, like 1 ounce samples. And then there's one that's just samples, which is like stuff you get when you buy fiber. They'll put in a little sample packet. And then another one is more bats, but they're really small bats, or like the batlings, or like those kind of little nest thingies. So again, that's only, the whole bin is probably only like 4 ounces with all the fibers in it. And then I have washed locks is in a bin, and the overflow from the natural stuff. There's like 2 rovings in that one that wouldn't fit in the other bin. And when I say wouldn't fit, I mean, like, I'm not killing the fiber in the bins, but they are full. They are as full as they will get. Like the bat bin, I have some of the bats in plastic bags with air in them, so the bats won't get totally squished. But there's a little bit of pressure on a lot of those bins without a fiber in there, so they won't like felt, but it's getting close. Like, I cannot put anything else in there, or they will start compressing and felting and, you know, being a disaster. That was the fiber stash. Then I also started organizing the sock yarn stash, because that one, I have a huge bin for my sock yarn, and I mean huge, like I could fit in it. But it was all my sock yarn, so it was self-striping, it was balls, it was skeins, it was just everything, and lace was also in there. I took the lace out and put that in a bin, and that's in its own thing now, so that's really cool, because I'm happy about that, because I could never find lace when I was looking for it. Like the Even Star shawl, it took me a little while to find that, because I didn't know where it was. Then the huge bin now is just variegated, or solid sock yarn. And then I got another bin that is self-striping balls, like the Knit Picks balls, like the ones behind me, those kinds. And then I got another bin, yeah, this is, yeah, it's crazy, that is like indie self-striping, like mustache yarns and those type of indie self-striping, sock blanks, which I don't have a lot, I have like 3 sock blanks, and gradient fingering weight yarns. And that's it for now. That's how I organized it. The rest of it was really organized. Like worsted weight was all in a bin, like single balls for like stuffies and stuff. And sweater quantities were in bins. You know, all the same yarns were together in a bin, and it's labeled sweater quantities, and things like that were already organized. But my fiber stash and my fingering weight, which is the majority of my stash, were just a mess. So I'm super happy that I organized all that stuff. It makes me feel really happy. And now, if I wanted to go do a project, I really could find it fairly quickly, instead of digging through things forever. And actually what prompted that was the What the Fade, looking for yarns for that, excuse me, I was down there like, what is all this? This is just a crazy disaster. It's just like, there's like all this stuff. Oh my God, I gotta fix this. And like, I knew it was a mess, but now at least it's all organized and I'm super happy about that. And like I said, I'll take some pictures. It's in my dirty, crappy basement, but I'll get some pictures of the bins so you can see how absolutely ridiculously crazy it is. Scrolls. I don't have any like really done reviews right now because I just got this stuff, but I will be reviewing 2 yarns in the near future. One I said I would review in October and one in November, I believe. I really wish Google Forms sent you a copy of your form because I fill out these forms and then I'm like, crap, what did I say I would do? Because I don't have a copy of it. One of them is Be Sweet Magic Ball. And this is yarn that is hand-dyed and spun. It's baby mohair with knobs and ribbons and more, as you can see. It's really like an art yarn. It's 50 grams. It's 90 to 95 yards. There's a range, obviously, because it's handmade. And the interesting thing about this yarn is that, I'll just read the tag to you. It's pretty quick. This mohair yarn comes from the fleece of Angora goats that are descendants of a breed originally from Tibet and brought from Turkmenistan to Turkey, where the Turks reserved the rare and precious yarn for royalty. In 1830, the Turks shipped a group of does and castrated bucks to South Africa, not knowing that one doe was pregnant and would give birth to a male kid. Interbreeding with local breeds eventually resulted in a hardier Angora goat, and now South Africa produces 65% of the world's mohair. This yarn was hand-spun and dyed by women in South Africa under a job creation program that has offered opportunity in an economically depressed rural region with a 75% unemployment rate and little opportunity aside from hard labor in pineapple fields. So I was really impressed with that, you know, the company's mission and stuff. And it's this gorgeous like art yarn, and it's actually fairly consistent. I don't have the other ball. I requested 2, but they look... You can really like put them together in a project because they're very, very similar, the colorways. So it's really an artsy yarn, and I'm super happy about that. So that's from Be Sweet, and both of these are provided in conjunction with Stitchcraft Marketing. They collaborate with the yarn companies and podcasters or bloggers to get reviews done. So I'm super happy to work with this. I was thinking of designing a cowl for this, but then I found on Ravelry that somebody already had, and it was kind of along the same ideas of what I was thinking of, so I think I'm just going to use her pattern instead of reinventing the wheel. The other one I have is from Zen Yarn Garden. It's a gradient quartet, and there's multiple colorways. There's also multiple colorways of that other yarn I just showed you. And it's 100% superfine superwash merino, fingering weight. Approximately 800 yards, so you can do a huge shawl with this. And the colorway I got was the Spring Quartet, so it's all green, and it's gorgeous, and it's super soft and squishy, and the colorways are great. So I will be super excited to review that one as well. So hopefully I can start up some projects with these and really get a good review, but thanks to those companies in Stitchcraft Marketing for providing those. And I think we'll have to take a break here to reset the camera. I have testaments. I have a lot of testaments because I bought a lot of stuff because I worked a lot of overtime, and that's always my excuse. So I will just reset the camera and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, on to testaments. Like I said, I have a ton of stuff. The first thing I have, Into the World last year, I think it was Tour de Fleece, but anyway, I won a prize and I had a coupon code and it was good for like a year, so it was coming up to expire in July. So I was like, ooh, better use that. So because my Into the World fiber stash is so ridiculous, I did not buy any fiber. I bought some of their sock yarn. So I got 2 sock yarns with my coupon code, and one is their Resist dye, so it's well, that's what it's called. That's what the process is called. And this colorway is Radioactive, and it's awesome. It's gorgeous. It's got all it's exactly my colors, that purple and green and everything. So super happy with that one. And then this one is I have the fiber in this colorway. Actually, it is Captain Tight Pants, which was Malcolm Reynolds is his last name, right? Captain Mal from Firefly. And I love this colorway, so I got some sock yarn in that too. So that's really cool. Then I have Mustache. Now, I had put on my show notes here because I started writing them a while ago. More mustache coming. Well, it came, so you'll see all of it. She did a Beatles theme, so there were quite a few. I did not get them all, but one was Yellow Submarine, which is awesome. So it's this one, and this is like the heel-toe coordinating one, so I got that one. And then the other one was the White Album, and there were, sorry for the crinkling, there were two different colorways like this. They striped differently. I liked this one better, so I got one skein of that. And then the coordinating heel toes, you could pick one, but I got all four, are the Beatles. You know, there's George, Paul, Ringo, and John. Those are not the colors. I didn't read them right because I can't see the tags. But anyway, one color represents each one of them. And I only got one of the 50 gram skeins because I can pretty much get a whole pair of socks for myself out of one of those. So I can definitely get a full pair if I do the heels and toes. And my plan for this colorway was to do different heels and toes. So have like one sock, you know, have an orange toe and a green heel maybe, and the other sock have the pink toe and the blue heel or whatever, or mix them up. And then the cuff too I can do with the different colors. So I have plenty of yarn here to make an entire pair of socks for myself. So that was cool. Then, oh, I have more. I said more was coming, right? So she was doing like a last chance kind of a thing. And the money benefited the ASPCA in Texas from the hurricane. Anytime anybody has anything like that, I always buy stuff because at least it's going to a good, some of it's going to a good cause. So one of them was Harry Potter. It's the sorting hat. And that's how it will come out. So I love that. So it's like all the house colors and stuff. And I was thinking of making fingerless mitts with this because she had that on her blog. In one of the pictures was fingerless mitts, and they looked awesome. Then the other one I got is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. So it comes out all rainbowy and moonish and everything. So that one was awesome. And then the last one I got, Halloween. This one is Jack is Back, so it's Jack Skellington in Halloween colors, and I love how that stripes. Isn't that so cool? So it's got the colored stripes and then like pinstripes for Jack. It's awesome. So that was that. That's it. That's the mustache. And yeah. Then I got Leading Men Fiber Arts. I follow their Instagram and posted a picture of this gradient colorway, and it's all purples. So I had to have it. So it's this lovely, it's Seduction is the colorway. It's on their soliloquy base. So it's 100% superwash BFL. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous purples. And I could not pass this one up. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. And now I'm super excited because it has its own bin. I have a gradient bin now, so I can put it in the gradient bin. So I'm super excited about that. I also got, I don't think I showed this before, I got a sock blank from Gail's Art, and it's a Game of Thrones one. And it's Dragon is Not a Slave. Awesome. Awesome. It's funny because I showed my husband because he likes Game of Thrones too, and I was like, isn't this so awesome? And he was like, what is it, a scarf? And I'm like, oh, well no, but it would make a really cool scarf, wouldn't it? The way it is. So that was funny. What else do I got? Oh, then I got some bags. I told you I worked a lot of overtime, and when I work overtime I just buy things. So the first one I got is from You So and So. And it's you like a sheep, E-W-E, and so-and-so like sewing. And she had this dragon print. Oh, and I could not get it. They're so cute. So I got that one. And her bags are awesome. There's a pocket in here, and it's got the tab you can carry it with. And it's got an awesome zipper pull, so you can hold the zipper. And she always gets like a really good piece of the fabric for her zipper pull. Like, there's a little dragon face right there. She always does a really good job with that stuff. And the inside is like a little dragon print. And it's a large wedge bag, so it's a good size. Then Jessa Lou had some stuff up, and she had one of these. She has more fabric if you're interested, but she had one ready to go, so I bought it. It's the Hobbit print, but not like the other one that I have. This is a different fabric. Isn't that awesome? So it's got Bilbo's house, and then it's got the group of the dwarves and them going there, and then it's got Smeagol, Gollum down there, and it's got some nice background. Then on the other side we have the spiders, and we have the barrels, and then we have Smaug, and some of his gold stash. Isn't that awesome? It's the coolest print. And then she did the same like the other Hobbit ones. There's a book lining on the inside. So that one was really cool. And then the other one that she had, I couldn't pass this one up because it reminded me of, it's not that thing. It's not exactly that thing. But it looked a lot like The Last Unicorn. Unicorns on Parade. And then I was like kind of on the fence about this one, but then the inside print's dragons. So then I was like, okay, sold. So that one's a really cool print too. I like that one a lot. And then she always coordinates her stuff. So there's pink tabs and there's a pink pull, and the other one has a teal pull, and just fabulous stuff. Really cool stuff. Yeah, as soon as I saw dragons on the inside, I was like, alright, I'm getting that one. I think that's it. I think that's it. Oh, no. No, it's not. It's not at all. Blaine Fleece and Fiber had an update, so I got some stuff. And she does the sheepy shells, and this one is Scottish Highlands, which is, I don't know if the camera will pick it up right, but it's a really deep purple. It's gorgeous. So I got 2 ounces of that. And the funny thing is, when I sorted my stash and organized it, I already had some of this colorway. Then she had some, just calling it White Wedding. She did it like an 80s music theme thing. This one's a Suffolk Alpaca blend, 50-50, so that's going to be super fun to spin. And then she was helping out a local mill sell off some stuff, so it's fibers first. And this one's Alpaca and Shetland, 80-20. That's going to be lovely. And it's this really, it's black. It's definitely black. It's lovely black color. And then they had this like mixed roving. It's alpaca and wool, 75-25, and this is mint chip. So I got some of that too. That's it. And no spindles. I haven't bought any spindles in a long time. But I had a ton of stuff because it's been a while since I recorded, and some of the stuff is overflow because I forgot to add it into another episode or whatever, but that's it. But I got lots of fun stuff, and it's all organized now, so I'm super happy. After I record, I have to go put all of this away in the proper bins. Okay, on to Heresy. The Advent mini swap that all the podcasters are doing together, the pairs should be coming out soon because that sign up was until 9/15. So that should be going soon if you join that. I found an interesting thing on YouTube. Chris Fox is a person. That's his name. He's an author. So if you're interested in writing, and he leans more towards sci-fi and fantasy kind of stuff, but it's kind of just applicable to writing in general. He has a bunch of YouTube videos about writing, like, you know, characters, how to set up your character profiles, how to outline a novel, you know, things that people most commonly do poorly to avoid, like all kinds of, like a bunch of videos that are all different topics about writing. So check him out if you're interested in writing or you like to write, even if you like to just do creative writing or whatever, just for fun, for yourself, like I do. Check out his YouTube channel. So Chris, like the name, Chris Fox, like the fox, writes, and that's his YouTube channel. The Super Sock Scarefest knit-along started already, which I have not even been able to participate because of the stupid shawl. That's not a stupid shawl. But I haven't even participated at all, but that started. And FW Aussie, who makes awesome spindles, they have a group, and they're doing a knit-along for November through January. So there are certain designers that you can knit patterns from, and there's discounts from them. And you can join this knit-along, and you can get prizes, and that's a fun group. They do a lot of fun stuff, and I'm one of the designers. So go check that out. I'm hoping, I don't see why not, but I was thinking of going to another fiber festival this year. The New England one is in Massachusetts in November, but I saw yesterday my local yarn shop is having a fleece prep class. And I've already washed and skirted and done a fleece and everything like that, but I still have some fleeces downstairs, and I am certainly not an expert. So I think instead, because this class is a little expensive, but they provide all the materials and the tools, and it's like 3 hours, I'm going to take this class instead. This class is in November, and they're going to go from like choosing, skirting, washing, prepping, and they're going to let us use the drum carder and the hand cards and tools that they have there, and a blending board, and let us do all kinds of fun stuff, and then we can take our stuff home after. So I think I'm just going to sign up for that class and skip the Fiber Festival and use the money for that instead. So I'm super excited. Then I looked at the calendar. I could have taken the day off, obviously it's in November, but then I looked at the calendar and it's one of my regular days off. So I was like, oh, that just means I'm supposed to take this class. So I'm going to sign up for that. I'm excited about that. I have some Ravelry patterns for you. And let's see what those are. I have the Thieves Road Shawl, and let me see if I can find it. Is that like the one I didn't pull up? Maybe. Of course it is. Alright, hold on, we'll come back to that one. The Babe Sweater, and I actually bought this one. It takes finger and weight yarn. It would be a great use of some leftovers. Obviously you need to have enough yardage to finish it, but it's like a really cool, fun, it's got some cool stitch patterns, but you can do really awesome things with colors on this one. So I really like that sweater, and it looks super comfy. So that's the Babe Sweater. And that one, so let's see how much. It uses 1,367 to 2,351 yards, depending on the sizes. There's lots of sizes. It goes extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, XXL. So it's got a ton of sizes for you. And it says no intarsia, no picking up stitches, no sewing. It's seamless and in one piece. That's why I bought it. So it is about $8 US. And it looks like it's totally worth it. It's got lots of size options, and I really loved the fact that there was no seaming, no sewing, nothing, none of that. The other one is Kel's. This is another sweater. It's about $6.29 US. It uses sport weight yarn. If you like cables, there's also a ton of sizes for this one as well. If you like cables, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous sweater. That is just fabulous. Kind of reminds me of the Even Star. So there's that one. Then I should really pull up that Thieves Road Shawl that I had. Sorry. I don't know how I skipped that one. Oh, and now my tablet doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. I think it's Ravelry, to be honest with you, because it's not, this doesn't happen with all websites. But it does happen with Ravelry. But only on my tablet, not on my phone. I never have problems on my phone. Alright, let's skip. The Campfire Cardigan. This one's free. It's crochet. It looks super fun and cozy, though. It looks super fun to make, and you could use leftover yarns for this one as well. So that one's really, really cool. Oh, this one was free. I actually bought it because it was free from like the website, but it had like all kinds of like ads and pictures and stuff on it, so if you wanted to print it out, it would kind of be messy. But for $2.50 you could buy a clean PDF version of it, so I ended up buying it. Thieves Road Shawl. It uses 620 yards of DK weight. It's $5. It's a really cool like colorwork shawl. I hope it shows up on the camera for you, but they're not straight lines. The colors kind of intersect with each other and have a pattern there. So that's the other one I found. So those are your Ravelry patterns. And now we're on to Delusional Jabber. Reading. I have been rereading The Hobbit. We're actually doing that on the Blaine Fleece and Fiber board. We're having a Hobbit read-along, because this whole year has been about Tolkien over there, and that's been lots of fun. I'm enjoying that. I think I had mixed up The Hobbit with The Lord of the Rings. Not the story, but I thought The Hobbit was a lot longer and drier than it actually is, and it's not. So I was not remembering that correctly. So I'm enjoying it. Actually, it's a pretty quick read. I'm also reading... audiobooks. I'm getting through a ton with this shawl. Right now I'm on the Indian Hill series from Mark Tufo. He's one of my favorite authors. He's the one that did the Zombie Fallout. And the coolest thing, I don't know about the rest, he has a few series. He has like 4 or 5 series. I think they're all like this, but I'm not positive because I haven't looked into it. But it appears that the same characters are in them all, but they're like completely different universes and different stories. So it's really cool. Because I love his books, because I love the characters, and I love the narrator. I've said this before, and how he does the characters. So it's awesome because, you know, there's only so many books in each series, like Zombie Fallout. I don't have any more to read right now. He's still working on the series, but I don't have any more to read. I've read them all. But I can jump to Indian Hill, or one of his other series, and still get my character fix. So it's really cool. What else am I reading? I'm still on The Passage. That book is really good, but it's really long. And, I thought I was reading something else. Oh, I'm going to start American Gods, because that was another swap recommendation on the Goodreads group that I'm in. That was one that was recommended to me, so I'm going to start that one soon. TV. Broadchurch. It's the last season. I'm behind, so I gotta catch back up. Xfinity took it off the streaming on the tablet, so I don't have the episodes on there, so I don't know if I have to wait for it to get on Netflix, or if I can get it at home on the TV. Ozark, I was watching on Netflix. That's with Jason Bateman. That's really, really good. The Discovery Channel did a mini-series on the Unabomber, if you remember him. I do, because he was caught when I was in high school. I remember that a lot. Like OJ too, that was around the same time when I was in high school. So those things just stick in your head for some reason, that time of your life. And they did an excellent job. It's the Discovery Channel, so it was really, really well done. It was excellent. And I'm not condoning anything that he did, but when you watch this series, you really get a feeling. He had some mental illness, obviously, but you really feel for him, and just, it's a little heartbreaking, but it was really, really well done. And the way the FBI figured out who it was him and everything was really cool. Shameless, I started watching up again. It was making me like depressed before when I was watching it, because like some bad things happen to all these people, but I started watching it again. So I just needed a little break from it. The Mist I finished. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. And I'm guessing it's going to come back, so that's cool. The Mick I finished. That's I think it's on Fox. Comedy. That is hysterical. That is like so my sense of humor. I really, really like that one. Preacher. I started marathoning, so I'm getting caught back up on Preacher. Preacher's awesome. I don't even know how to describe it other than epic. Like the way they film it, and just the characters and the storyline, and it's just so much in your face. It's one of those shows I watch that's an hour-long show where I sit down to watch it, and then I'm at the end credits, and I'm like, what just happened? That wasn't an hour. That was like 5 minutes. Like, it's so good. You're so engrossed in it. You have no idea how much time has passed. I love that one. And the other one my husband and I are watching, because we like his stuff, and we were really impressed with it, is The Orville. And that's a new, like, it's almost like Star Trek kind of a thing, but it's Seth MacFarlane. And so it is funny, but it's not all, like, slapstick, silly humor. It's kind of a more serious, it is like Star Trek. It's episodic, you know, and they're in a spaceship, and they have a mission, and things come up, and they do things, but it is funny. And it's really good. It's really, really well done. And the effects, the CGI and stuff, is fairly good, fairly high-end. So it's really enjoyable. Movies. I rewatched the Hobbit trilogy recently, and that was really good. Always, I could watch it every day, all day long. Actually, a few of them I watched like over and over a couple of days. And my husband's like, "Didn't you just watch that yesterday?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I enjoyed that. And at work, I was bored and I wanted to watch something silly. So I watched Daddy's Home. That's with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and that one's really fun. It's hysterical. It's really, really funny. I really enjoyed that one. It is quite entertaining. And I think that's it. That's all that's been going on. I'm really glad it's September. Like I said, August was just horrible and awful. And I'm so glad it's over. I'm sad that summer's gone and that it's dark at 7:30 p.m. now, but I'm so glad August is done because I just had enough. Enough. It was getting to the point where I was ready to, like, snap. You know? So many things going wrong, and oh god. But yeah. So that's all I've been working on, and that's all that's been going on. So like I said, I meant to show you. So with my whole stash organization thing, I had been doing before... oh, I forgot something else. Well, let's do this first. Let me see if I can do this and not forget. So, I was doing like a breed spinning study before, and I have a ton of like samples and smaller bits I had purchased just to do a spinning study on different fibers. So I now do have a breed study bin. And when I show you this bin, I do not mean this is the stash bins. This is a tiny bin compared to the stash bins. But I have this bin here. So now if I want to, and these are like 1 ounce samples or 2 ounce samples, so I have a ton of stuff that I can spin up, and I just threw some in the bin here, so then when I'm sitting here and I just want to do a breed study thing quick, now I can just go in that little bin and grab something instead of having to go into the big bins and dig something out. So that's cool. And I had my, good thing I looked over here because I forgot to show you something else. Like when I do a breed study, I do a page in my spinning journal, like that one was Columbia, and I really, really enjoyed that spin, with some notes and some stuff on the fiber and everything, so that's cool. And then I wanted to get back into that, because I don't have a lot of time for spinning, but stuff like that, the 1 ounce bits and the breed study stuff, it's super quick, so I can do that, you know, whenever. So, 2 of the girls at work and we did one previously, but this past Friday we did another one. It's the paint night, and the place is called Art on the Rocks because you can bring your own booze, which sometimes is not a good thing, and I'll show you why in a second. But we did a paint night the other night. They had a Hocus Pocus paint night, and we all liked that movie and everything. I had actually never seen it, and one of them was a huge fan, and she was like, "What do you mean you've never seen it?" So I watched it like last year, I think. And she's like, "Oh, good, now we can talk again," you know, joking, like, now we can be friends. So, but it was a cool movie, and it's really cute, and I like it a lot. So it was a Hocus Pocus one, and it was super fun. This is the hardest paint one I've done. I've done a couple of these. This one was really hard and detailed. There was a lot of stuff on it, but this is my finished painting. So we have, you know, the town of Salem down here, and some magic going on, and the moon, and the characters and stuff, but there was a ton of detail to this one. So anyway, like I was saying with the booze, the problem is that once you get towards the end of the evening and you're on your second or third beer, your fine motor skills start to not really be so fine anymore. So she was the last thing I painted, and as you can see, she's a little, not quite as defined or, you know, good. And then I got this broom in here that started to get a little messy. So it's over here, you know, the rest of it was really good, but over here it started to go a little downhill because, you know, I was into my second stout, and they were good stouts. They were like 11%. So my fine motor skills may have been going at that point. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy those a lot. So I'm sure we'll do more in the future because it's a fun night out for us girls. And I think that's it. So come on over to the Ravelry board. I'll get some stuff up on there now that I have some time and I'm not working so much overtime anymore. And hopefully we can do a virtual knit night soon for those of you that were interested in that. And thanks so much for joining. Happy knitting and spinning.